Thanks to the support as a channel member, Aiden C97. Okay, I'll acknowledge we're getting somewhere with the lighting again. I like the fact the floodlights are back, the new fancy panel things back there. Lovely stuff. We are still missing the wide camera though, so I'm still going to need a little bit more investment from you because I want to be able to start looking up there again. I liked it up there. Hello and welcome to part 67 of Homegrown. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have both legs of the playoff semi-final for you. We are away and then at home against West Brom. Since you were last with me, of course, nothing has happened other than the fact we've hit continue a few times to get ourselves to playoff day. But if we have a look at when we played West Brom earlier in the season, you can see we played them in our little horrible run of form, the run of form that directly led to us ending up in the playoffs, because if that hadn't have happened, we'd have gone up automatically. So we lost to them 2-1 at home less than 2 months ago. And then the away game against West Brom earlier in the season, we actually beat them 2-1 away from home. So it's 3-3 on aggregate from league games at the moment. And weirdly, we've each won our away games. So that does give me a little bit of hope going into this away leg that's coming up first now. West Brom, I think, are going to be the team in the better form than we are, because we had that very challenging run into the end of the season. If we have a look at there is a way to get a form table, isn't there? Yeah, last 5 games. So last 5 games, actually, you know what? We're 7th, West Brom 9th. So our form has been slightly better than theirs in the run-in. So who knows? Stoke are winning 2-1 against Blackburn or have won 2-1 against Blackburn in the first leg of the other tie. We've just got to go there and try and do the best we can. And we're going to have to do it with a few injury problems. We've got key players who are unavailable for this game. Nathan Curry's still injured. He's going to be out for another couple of weeks. There's an outside chance if we make it to the final, he might be available to play in that. But Micah Hamilton has now picked up an injury. He's missing the entirety of the playoffs. And Danny Pritchard also missing the next couple of weeks as well with a dislocated jaw suffered in training. It feels like somebody's punched him. It does mean that we've got a couple of unfamiliar faces going to be on the bench for such a big game. Chris Stone, who's a defensive midfielder who can also play centre-back or centre-mid. He's 5'9". He ain't no centre-back. But he's a 2-star current ability, 4-star potential player. Another one who's come through our own youth system, but managed to sneak through the system without getting a name in the game allocated to him. And then Pat O'Grady is an Irish under-19 international striker, 2-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. We signed him on a free transfer from Aston Villa a few years ago. The only football he's ever played was out on loan to Torquay in the National League, 3 years ago, 2 years ago? I'd hope we don't have to rely on Pat O'Grady for a goal in this playoff run. So this is the team. We're going with Williams in goal, a back four of Hall, Davies, Bart and Brewerton, Hodgkinson and Akani in midfield, Renan and Hughes as our wingers, and then Cannon and Jessup up front. If we pick up any kind of injuries during these playoffs, I think one more injury and we are officially done. We are threadbare as it is. We've got an awful lot of players out on loan at this club. And I think what we've probably learned in the run-in at the end of this season is that we've maybe loaned out 3 or 4 too many. It would be nice just to have a few more of these more fringe players knocking around the club so that we don't have to go down to the next tier down with Stone and O'Grady when we pick up a few injuries. We probably need to be making sure we've got our best 22, 23 players available at all times next season. And we're already 1-0 down after a minute. This is such a theme of our recent run of form. I don't understand why we're doing this so much. We are constantly conceding goals in the first couple of minutes of football matches currently, and I don't know why, and I would really like it to stop. The one positive we've got is we're also quite often turning it around after doing that. It's almost as if it wakes us up. But it would be, again, we'd be a Premier League side already if we hadn't started doing this over the last 5 or 6 games. If you take away all those, if you take away every goal scored in the first 5 minutes for our last 10 games, I haven't actually run the numbers, but I reckon that would put us in the Premier League. Kieran Hodgkinson eventually finds its way forward to Renan via Akani. Akani's got it again, and now Renan again. The one, I guess, silver lining on the cloud that is our injury problems at the moment is that with Hamilton injured, it does mean that Renan gets to play in his preferred position on the left-hand side. Jessup was in there, but couldn't quite get the shot away. And that would have been an ideal time to grab an equaliser there. I mean, with this being the away leg, I won't be distraught if it ends 1-0 to West Brom, but it would be nice to be able to pick up a draw in this first leg and give ourselves something to work with going back into the second leg back at our place. What we don't want to do is lose like 2-3, 4-0 and make it very, very difficult for us to turn it around when we're back at the home of football in a couple of days' time. Harrison Davies with the headed clearance. It doesn't go very far. And Kieran Hodgkinson with a wild challenge that he's very lucky to have got away with there, but they're in and they've grabbed their second. And very frustratingly, Williams hasn't really moved for either of the goals that West Brom have scored. And it does feel like these playoffs this season might just be a step too far for us. We're making progress, but I'm sitting here right now looking at this thinking this is not a team that's ready for the Premier League. We need another year. We need another year, but the problem is we haven't really got the money to, well, we haven't got the money to invest. We said at the start of the season, if we don't go up this year, we're going to have to sell one of our stars, Renan or Williams. Realistically, one of them is going to have to go. It also rules out any possibility of signing Hodgkinson or Curry permanently, although they are both in on loan again next year. But it is going to make us weaker long term as we head to the Premier League if we don't go up this year. But I don't think we've got it. We're 2-0 down already. We're not in this game at all. We don't have options on the bench to change it around. I mean, who do we bring on? Connor Roberts, Mauro Bandera, or Shay Charles, Eli Campbell? None of these are changing this game. Oh dear. Right, 2-0 is not disastrous. 2-1 would be better. We just need to do something in this second half, and that something can't include continuing to concede goals. So as long as we don't keep conceding goals, we do leave ourselves with a little bit of hope. But hope is very quickly fading away as this game continues, and we just don't look like any kind of goal threat. It's all West Brom. They look comfortably better than we are. And I think, like I say, this season's just gone on a little bit too long for us. Our squad's just a little bit too small. And it's not as if we've got 5 or 6 injuries. It's just taken a few injuries to key players. And our squad does look very, very thin off the back of it. But Jessop's in here. A goal for Jessup would be huge. And it is huge. It's only 2 minutes into the second half and Tommy Jessup has scored. West Brom 2, Home 1. What an important goal that could end up being for this promotion push. Jessup does really well. Cannon does brilliantly. What a little through ball from Troy Cannon, who really is turning into a very, very good support striker. I know I've been a little bit up and down on Cannon over the years, but in this role that he's been playing for us for the majority of this year, this has been probably Troy Cannon's longest ever run in the side, an uninterrupted run in the side, and he's getting really, really good at it. The slam dunk corner, but the goalkeeper is wise to it and collects. If we can somehow come out of this with a draw, that would be ridiculous, but very, very promising. Looking ahead to the second leg, although it's West Brom on the attack again, a third goal here for them is troublesome, and that's exactly what they're going to get. It's not. Williams has woken up in the second half. That's his second very good save of this second half. And my assistant manager is yelling at me to make all manner of substitutions, but I really don't want to have to play Eli Campbell in midfield in a championship playoff semi-final. But looking at Akani's fitness levels, I don't think I have much of a choice if we're going to keep him fit for this second leg. So Campbell does come on to play the box-to-box midfielder. Renan has not turned up at all today. I think we probably need to take off Renan. Connor Roberts is going to come on up front. Jessop's going to go out onto this left-hand side. We're going to push Cannon further forward. Roberts is going to be the deep-lying forward alongside him. Hughes is also having a very poor game, but we don't really have anyone who can come on for him. So we'll make do with what we've got here for now. We're going to encourage the boys and just hope that someone has a goal for us, although it is West Brom with the free kick again. Someone needs to get a tackle in. Whoever that is, why are they not getting a tackle in? It's Connor Roberts, was just stood there looking at the player, just, I guess, waiting for him to do something rather than just being proactive, making the tackle and trying to get a counter-attack moving. Harrison Davies with a crunchy tackle. Davies has gone down injured. That is not good. Harrison Davies is rolling around on the floor. I think we've broken our captain, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a red injury and that's him done. He makes the tackle, gets up, and then immediately goes back down again, and this is not good. Harrison Davies, we're going to take him off straight away. A potential lower leg injury. I mean, he's not broken his leg because it's not a red injury. But Shay Charles can come on for him for the final 15 minutes as we hope to be able to nurse him back to some kind of fitness for the second leg. But I'm not hopeful looking at how he went down. And considering Akani was shattered, Hodgkinson's now shattered, Hughes is tired. The second leg is in 3 days' time. We are going to really struggle to put a team out for that second leg. But Troy Cannon, with a huge opportunity now to make himself an all-time home legend, plays it back to Jessup. Jessup to Roberts. Why is nobody getting a shot away? Brewerton collects the ball from the clearance, and it's going to end 2-1. It's certainly not the worst result that we could have got out of that match. Certainly how it started. And we just need to hope that Davies isn't proper injured. It's a bruised shin. Then what was he making such a meal of it about on the floor? Davies, fingers crossed, should be fit for the second leg. Alex Williams, 13 saves. Considering he didn't move for the 2 goals that he conceded, that's a stupendous performance from Alex Williams. 13 saves. If we end up in the Premier League, it's Alex Williams who's dragged us there, kicking and screaming. Right, some significant changes needed for this game because of injuries and tiredness. Akani is very, very tired. Brewerton tired. Hughes tired. Davies fit again, but tired. Kieran Hodgkinson tired, but just going to have to play. But we've shuffled things around quite a lot. So it's going to be Williams in goal, Hall, Campbell, Barr, and Charles as the back 4. Hodgkinson and Bandera in midfield. Jessup drops back to play on the left-hand side with Renan moving back over to the right. And then we're going with Roberts and Cannon up front. It means as attacking options to come off that bench, we really only have Euron Hughes and then Pat O'Grady if we have to use him. Akani, Allen, Brewerton, Davies, they're all available to come on later in the game if we need them. But the only real attacking change we've got is to get Hughes on and either push Renan up front or push Renan back to the left and push Jessup up front. It's not ideal, but it's the state of our squad. I guess Hodgkinson could go up front as well if need be. So 4 changes it adds up to. I mean, I must have had 10 different versions of this team. I lost count of how many changes it was. We just need the win. That's all it is. We need the win. If we can pull off a win, it books us our spot at Wembley for the playoff final, gives us a little bit of time to heal, and fingers crossed, head to the Premier League. Looking at that, it said West Brom have made 6 changes to their side, which I guess means they're just going to be fresher because presumably they're not operating on such a small squad as we are. They've done very well here, and is that Campbell, the number 33? He's very lucky that ended up going behind for a corner and not bouncing off him into the back of the net. It could have been yet another early goal conceded for us there, but luckily we did just about get away with it. We've survived the opening 10 minutes of the game, which is rare for us at the moment. Now we just need to go on and score a goal of our own and really start to put some pressure onto West Brom. It'd be interesting to see how they cope with a little bit of pressure being applied to them, because it's not something they've had to put up with at any point in this tie yet. Maybe they'll be the kind of team that will crumble if they have some pressure applied to them, but they're the ones doing all the attacking at the moment, and Williams is there again with an excellent save. Alex Williams, he's putting on a hero's performance, trying to drag us into the Premier League. Hodgkinson heads clear, but only as far as another West Brom player, and they just continue their attack. It is just relentless at the moment, but Hodgkinson intercepts, and it's now Renan with the chance to break down the right-hand side. Completely absent from the first match, Renan. He needs to put on a performance today. He's supposed to be a £30 million player. He needs to show us that he's a £30 million player who should be in the Premier League by turning up for big games, and he hasn't done it so far. Hodgkinson is so tired, I'm already being told to take him off and bring Akani on for him. He's at least making it to the hour mark, unless he gets a knock. He's too good to take off, even if he's too tired to wander around. He can just stand in that centre circle, pinging passes around if he has to. It's West Brom with the last highlight before half-time. And it's a very tame cross that goes straight into the hands of Williams. And it looks like we're heading in at half-time, 0-0. And we're going to start the second half the way we started the first half. We need a goal, at least one. Although we might grab one here. There's the ball over the top looking for Jessup. He doesn't find him. And now West Brom looking to counter our counter. And, that's a big miss. That is a huge miss that might just be opening the door just a smidgen for us to push on in this second half. We're coming straight back out. We're not making any changes. We are going to be keeping an eye on Hodgkinson, but realistically, if we have to break him to get to the Premier League, we'll break him to get to the Premier League. He says, I am about to take him off. Akani's going to come on in midfield. I'm all mouth, no trousers. Literally, because as you know, I don't wear trousers to make these videos. Andy Hall is also very tired. We don't really have... I guess Davies could come on. But I think we'll give that 5 or 10 minutes before we make that change. We are going to demand more. I think we also probably need to go attacking now. We've got to grab a goal from somewhere. And we have to push on and get forward to be able to do that. They are in behind us here. And no, that is the last thing we wanted to see. I think any hope we had of the Premier League might be drifting away now. We have got an enormous amount of work to do in these final 20 minutes. We're going to need to, we need our best players on the pitch. Davies is coming on. We're going to bring him on for Hall, and we're going to do that. So Harrison Davies is on. We need him as our captain, our leader. Renan is also tired. See, Renan being tired is so disappointing. I think I'm just going to put him up front and hope. We're just going to do this. I don't care that he's tired. Just go and do something fancy, please. Please go do something fancy, the way we know you can. We're pushing Renan as far forward as we can. And maybe he'll be the one to provide us with the goals. And we've immediately lost Mauro Bandera to an injury, which is not what we wanted to see. We're going to have to go to 3 at the back. Campbell's going to go into midfield. And we're going to do this. I think it's over, boys and girls. But you never know. Stranger things have happened. More. Come on now. There must be a goal in us from somewhere. Hughes with the throw. And it's Cannon. Cannon back to Akani. I might shuffle around and... because Hughes can play right wing back. Campbell could presumably play left wing back. We could maybe shuffle things around a little bit and go to a front 3. If we put Jessup up as well, maybe. I should probably play around with it on the screen rather than trying to think it out and work out how we could do it. But for now, we've got the back 3. It's a terrible idea. And, oh, they've always got the ball. It's very upsetting. Jessup's going to keep it in here, though. Right, a counter-attack and a goal here, and it's game on. It's Eli Campbell, a centre-back, charging forward on the left. He's our furthest man forward. And there you go. That shows it. Plays it all the way back to Jessup. Those two need to swap over. Right, what can we do? Barr can play midfield. Let's push him up to there. Put it. Right, do this. This seems to be getting more defensive. Hold on, we do this. That's right. We're just doing nonsense now. Well, you're going to cut inside so you can go past him. And you know what? We're going to have them both cutting inside. You know what? We're just going to do this. So you're going to be an advanced forward there. You're going to play in that role there, and you're going to push forward. What am I doing? What is this? No, not attack. Attack would be silly. Maybe even this. What has this become? What on earth has this become? There you go. I mean, oh, God. This is hideous. I've lost my mind. Goals, please. Probably against us. Oh. Yeah, it's all going wrong. Oh, they missed again. They've given us the opportunities. We've just bottled them every time. We're going very attacking. I'm now encouraging the team again. We need a bigger squad for next year. That's what we've learned here. We just ran out of players. We ran out of players. We've run out of money. We're going to have to sell Williams. He did his best to keep us in the promotion push, but he's got, I mean, I'd rather sell Renan because Renan has been pathetic in this playoff thing. He's not turned up at all, whereas Williams has. But I suspect Williams is the one who's most likely to go because I think he's the one who's most likely to draw interest from other teams. But Renan, I'm so annoyed with. If we can get 20 million for Renan, we are biting someone's arm off for that and just signing all the best 18-year-olds in the Football League. It might even be sensible to try and push him out for that kind of money because he has just been, he's been in a mood all year. He now finally wants to stay. He's just signed a new contract extension with a big release clause. It's like a £37 million release clause. But then he may as well have not been here in both legs of these playoffs. He may as well have not been involved. I don't read too much into what's happening in these last 10 minutes. We've done a silly formation and pushed everybody forward. But, Renan, I'm so angry with. Yeah, I'm disappointed with everybody off the back of that. We're going to be in the championship for a third year. Poor old Bandera's broken his arm. Much sadness. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.